What do you say, everybody? It's a playoff preview. Game 2 tonight, the Cubs and the Milwaukee Brewers. What can you expect as we talk to you from out here in Las Vegas on the Cubs baseball channel? Out here for a little convention and a good place to watch baseball if you're not going to be at the game itself. So let's talk about the Cubs. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, get in that comment section, and hit that QR code right there. That's where you get the opportunity to win a couple of tickets to Game 4 of this NLDS. And I'm going to tell you guys how to do that on Mick Nation, AveD. It's all free. So let's get this thing started. Big show today. What do you say, everybody? Mick Gillespie, Cubs Baseball Channel, and it is great to have you guys here today as we talk about the Cubs and the Milwaukee Brewers. All right, I waited to do this show because I know I try to put them out in the morning. I just wanted to make sure that if something broke, we weren't behind a little bit, right? And so through these playoffs, I've just waited that extra tick to see what's going on. And look, that's the sphere behind me right there, in case you guys want to watch that spin around as we talk about the Cubs. Shōta Imanaga ready for his biggest Cubs moment. That's what the tag says. And that's the question. Is he ready for his biggest Cubs moment? He's pitching Game 2 in Milwaukee. I'm still sitting here wondering what the logic was behind Matthew Boyd pitching on 3 days rest. Because this would have been the right spot for Boyd. And then you could have had Imanaga at Wrigley, and maybe the wind's blowing in, and he's really effective there. I feel like they botched it a little bit. I know a lot of you guys are in the comment section, and you think they botched it a lot. It's only one game, but they've totally screwed up the pitching. So the only way to get back on track is for Shōta Imanaga to do that for the Cubs, and he's got the ability to do that. We've seen the best of Imanaga, a former all-star and honestly one of my favorite Cubs. But this is a really big spot for him. You're talking about a guy that gave up a lot of home runs, 31 allowed, third most in the big leagues, right? That's not good. He's got to keep the ball in the park. And I don't think the Cubs really have an option to go with anyone else in this spot now because of the way that things went in Game 1, right? Milwaukee's not a big home run hitting team. They're like in a 22nd most in baseball. It's not like they've really hit a bunch of home runs off of lefties. You know, the 25th, 24th, I think, in baseball in that category. They're not really like a home run hitting team, you know, like where they rely on the home runs, but they will, you know, just nickel and dime you to death if you're not careful with them, right? When you look at the guys that are potentially tough in the lineup on Imanaga, Joey Ortiz is honestly the toughest guy that he's had to face. 4 of 9, a double. William Contreras has hit a couple of home runs off of him. Christian Yelich has hit a home run off of him. He's done good against Bryce Terang. I know I called him Bruce last show. Sorry about that. But this is a Milwaukee lineup that you got to throw strikes and be aggressive to. But at the same time, you just don't want to give in to these guys. They're very beatable. You know that. I know that. And we've seen the Cubs take care of business against them. On the bright side, and I think this is really important, the one good thing about Game 1. And I know you're saying, hey, wait a second. What could be good about that? The one good thing is that you got a chance to give your bullpen a day of rest. The guys that matter. You know, we're not going to use Michael Soroka. I don't even know, unless you get blown out, if the guy ever even pitches for the Cubs again. He's turned into a disaster. Hopefully he changes that. But the rest of those guys, Kittredge pitched 3 straight games. You didn't have to use him. You didn't have to use your high leverage bullpen guys. No Palencia. You know, you didn't have to use the guys that when you get into these really tight games that you're going to have to use for big outs. You know, because the Cubs got hammered so hard early, you got the chance to rest your bullpen. So that's on the bright side. Everything else terrible, but that's a good thing. Now, I kept wondering what the Cubs were going to do with their lineup. How can they manipulate the lineup a little bit to take advantage of Daniel Palencia? Moises Ballesteros. Could you get him in the lineup? He's a threat. He's been honestly, I think one of the Cubs' better hitters when they put him in the lineup. And the answer is that you're not going to see him because Kyle Tucker can't play the outfield. He's not going to play the outfield in this series unless something changes. He's still dealing with the calf injury. We're probably lucky that he's playing at all. And so it's Seiya Suzuki in the outfield. So that's that. You know, when you got Tucker playing right field, then you can DH based on matchups between Ballesteros and Suzuki. But Suzuki's played really, really well lately. So I don't know that this is a terrible thing for the Cubs. They're just not going to have him in this game. And look, if the Cubs win tonight, then the momentum shifts right back to them. I mean, then all of a sudden, you go to Wrigley and you take care of business, and that no one's really getting into the what happened in game one. Sometimes it's not good to win a blowout game because the other team is able to work around that. Now, the matchup for tonight, obviously Shōta Imanaga for the Cubs, left-hander Imanaga, 9-8 record and a 3.73 ERA. Making his biggest start as a member. It's going to be Aaron Ashby, a 2.16 ERA. He's an opener. And then Quinn Priester is going to be the guy that follows the balk guy. You guys know, I know you want to send me the old man emoji. I can't stand the opener. But you know what? It didn't work out well for us. Priester's a 25-year-old. Cubs have faced him 3 times. They got him pretty good once. And then, he was okay in the other one. Okay in the other one. Like this is a winnable series. And when you win these series, you win them by beating the pitchers on the other side of things. So we'll see if the Cubs come out with a different intensity than they had in game one. It's hard to have a lot of intensity when your starting pitcher is as bad as Matthew Boyd was. And I love Boyd. I feel like the Cubs put him in the wrong situation. He should be pitching today, and they should have had somebody else. Maybe I know you might hate to hear it, but it should have been like a Colin Ray or something other than pitching a guy on 3 days rest and messing up your whole rotation. So anyway, that's the game. We'll be following it, be back on in the morning talking about it. Get in the comment section. Tell me what you guys think. Also, sign up for those tickets right there, the QR code, Mick Nation, AveD, giving those tickets away. And we'll be talking about Cubs baseball here. Fingers crossed that they get it moving in the right direction tonight. I mean, I can't wait to watch. I'm a little nervous, to be honest with you. I think you guys are too. But this is what you play the whole season for, these type of games. We'll see if the Cubs can get somebody big to step up and have one of those games. Maybe this is the game where Ian Happ carries the Cubs, and he's had games like that over the years, right? And he seems to do his best against the teams in the division, and Milwaukee's certainly one of those teams. But anyway, thanks for being here. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, and as I say all the time, go